Succession planning is a crucial process for any organization, as it ensures that the right talent is available to take on leadership roles when the need arises. In this quick podcast, we explain why succession planning isn't just about finding a replacement, but identifying, developing, and retaining the right people for fundamental roles and much more. Let's begin.
Welcome everyone to the podcast. Today we are discussing succession planning. So succession planning is a crucial process for any organization as it ensures the right talent is available to take on leadership roles if someone is to retire, leave the organization, and having a plan in place is crucial. Today I am joined by Kimberly Kaler, president of AOE, and she wrote a blog on succession planning. It's called Succession Planning Essential in Today's Economy. We're going to dive into this blog and cover everything there is to know or within a short amount of time and go over everything. Welcome, Kimberly. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Janice. I love this topic, so I'm thrilled to sit down and talk to you today.
Great. So can you give our audience a brief summary of why succession planning is important for organizations?
So succession planning is important for continuity, for making sure you can be consistent with your brand, your products, your services, your delivery. Too often succession planning is just thought of in terms of replacement, but there's so much more that comes into that in terms of being efficient and delivering on what you've promised your members or your customers or your clients that you were going to do.
Okay. So what should a successful succession plan include?
So I feel a little differently than a lot of people related to succession plans. Many believe a succession plan, as I noted already, really is a document that just outlines who a replacement is. And I am a big believer that succession plans should include a lot of other detail that helps in the immediate situation in which leadership leaves for whatever reason. So, where are passwords? Who notifies the board and the customers? Can we have any of this content actually preloaded? Who's actually in charge in that situation before a successor is named? So succession plan is really an operations plan in terms of how to get through a transition. But it also has a strategic component in terms of what are the messages you want to make sure are delivered to your key audiences in that standpoint. It's also key that the plan does talk about what you are looking for in terms of a successor. And while I believe that a succession plan that just names a person, I find that pretty rigid because, you could have sat down before the pandemic and named what you needed in a successor. And then, you get on the other side of the pandemic or any other transitional change with your industry. And what you need in a leader can change, and in many cases really should change to be responsive to your marketplace.
Right. No, I agree 100%. So how does communication play a role in succession planning?
So as I noted, some key elements you should have in your succession plan are those communication touch points. So for example, if you're an association and you have a key executive leave, what is the communication process? Who's in charge of communicating with the membership, with the board of directors? Does the board of directors then act as the voice for the organization? Understanding what all that is. And a lot of that can be pre-scripted. It's essentially a crisis communications plan. Can you have some of these messages pre-populated? They obviously need to be edited based on the situation, but communication is key. If it's planned, it also gives you a chance to deliver your key messages. So if you have a key leader leave, do you still have an opportunity with a succession plan that's thought out to deliver the key messages about your organization?
Got it. So in your blog, you mentioned how organizations can make mistakes when it comes to succession planning. Can you tell our audience what type of mistakes an organization or association should avoid?
I think the biggest mistake, because it's not fair to anybody involved, is leading people to believe that they are the successor, no matter what the case. I've seen many examples of it with clients that we've worked with where someone was either flat out told they were the heir apparent, or it was believed that person was being groomed as the heir apparent. And then when the time came for any sort of transition, chaos ensued because maybe a search committee reviewed and decided, hey, that person actually really isn't a fit for what our team needs at that point. Another mistake that organizations make is not giving some thought related to, if you are grooming team members to take different roles, is to really have a plan for that growth. So it shouldn't simply be that Nancy's going to take over for Bob, or, Jill is going to take over for Larry, whatever. It should be, what are the skill sets that we need these team members to have to get them to the place where they are considered? And then what's the growth plan for that? Is it training? Is it mentorship? What are all the skills for that? And that is a very commonly overlooked step as part of a plan.
Great. So how can AOE help with creating or developing a succession plan for an organization?
So we have created a template that helps guide you through a lot of the operational standpoint in terms of the who, what, when, where. I mean, we know of many examples of things simple as, the executives had passwords or had access to things that then all of a sudden nobody longer had access to once they left. So this operational organizational plan template is something that we have available and we can work with you on. But we also have some discussions and training, just like we're having today, in building on that, starting with, how has your industry changed? How has your organization changed? What are some things that are key and important to address as we build out your plan?
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I know we have webinars, we have blogs, we have another podcast on succession planning. So I encourage our audience to check all that out. You can visit our website at aoeteam.com. Thank you, Kimberly, for joining me today.
Great. Thanks, Janice.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope this session provides value, and we hope you will join us for our next podcast.